Hello everybody, Thy-Lord Root here, and today we're playing OpenTTD, and I am working on a tutorial. Maybe it'll be a series, and maybe it'll turn into a Let's Play, but this particular video is about optimizing your starting move, which generally in this case means making as much money as you can. And the reason for that is actually rather simple, because if you start the game, you start in debt, and we'll see that in a little bit. But you also need money to do things, and you'd like to have good cash flow. So let's talk about optimizing that, what can be done. And note that I am on OpenTTD 12.2, which is important. If you've read a lot of other guides on this, then they will potentially use older versions. So I've got the map here set to 1024 by 1024. Sea level I have set to medium. We're going to set the number of towns to low. And the reason we're going to do this is because if this does turn into a Let's Play, then one of the goals that I have is growing a town to be very large. You can see we're surrounded by water on all sides, so this is an island. Why don't we change the starting date, though? 1950 is the default. I'm going to change it to 1935, and there's actually a very good reason for that. 1950 is actually a pretty decent place to start, but it gets you close to the future. The earliest you could start in vanilla, which this playthrough is using, is 1925, and that gives you access to one train, and that's it. In 1930, you get access also to buses and to also airplanes. And I guess maybe in 1925 you may also have access to ships, I'm not sure. But the trouble is that you still have access to that one train, which isn't very good. So 1935 gives us some options, which will be useful because we're trying to demonstrate how to optimize things. If you're playing earlier than that, then your opening may be just a little bit different. So we're going to let this thing generate, and we're going to pause immediately. If you hit F1, it'll also pause. And just a couple of things. We want to look for a decent starting town. We're just going to sort of claim it for now, and if you click on this guy here, the display company finances, you'll see a couple of things. We've got a $100,000 loan, which means we're 100 grand in the hole, and we can have up to, at this point in time, 300,000. Now, what we want is we want a place where we could expand relatively easily. We also want a town that generally is pretty large, even though we're not focusing on that sort of transport yet, on passenger transport. I'll get into that here in a bit. And something that gives us access to the sea as well would be nice. Well, it looks like maybe Larfing Field might be a decent spot. One thing to sort of note is that if you're growing your town, and we'll get into what it takes to do that, it may become more difficult to grow it on the coast. So if you can get it slightly off the coast, that would be even better. And that makes Punwood potentially handy as well. Although now, taking a look at it, Greenway actually isn't too bad of an option either here. So we're looking for something maybe, I don't know, maybe 1500 or higher would be good. Let's just see if we can't find anything else. Conningberry could be good, but we might want to check out some of these areas near the coast too. See if there's a major body here that we can hit. Pleffingburg would almost be pretty good. and we've got this here. Okay, I think what we'll do then is we will simply go down here and, what did we say it was? A larfing field? That is relatively well spaced out. So we're going to take that, and in order to claim the town, all we have to do, and you have to unpause to do this, remember you can hit F1, but all we want to do is place some form of equipment. That could be a road, or it could be something else. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And we're not going to focus on growing the town immediately, but if you hit this guy right here, and you click on the sign, we'll put a little reminder here that we need to come back in and do something about that. So, really with that in mind, the best thing for us to do now, say capital city here. And now we want to go find the best way to make money. And there's really a lot of options. If you read a lot of tutorials, what they'll be like is, well, you got two big cities here, run an airport between them. And that could work. However, and this is a pretty big however here, the trouble with that is that if you do that, it's actually kind of slow. Planes are kind of expensive. You could use buses, but buses have very low throughput. And, I mean, so do the planes at this point in the game as well. So our best option is probably going to be trains, but not with passengers. And just to sort of make a point, we'll go to display graphs, we'll go to cargo payment rates here, and we'll expand this out. And you can see here that the highest paying thing is valuables. We don't have access to that yet because a bank hasn't been constructed. So goods we could do, except we'd have to build a lot of infrastructure to do that. Therefore, the best thing for us to do is for us to just go ahead and do coal, which is the next best thing. There's a lot of good things about coal. First of all, you don't need anything in between. In order to do goods, you need to at least take either wood to a sawmill, oil to an oil refinery, or livestock, grain, and steel to a factory. Coal, you don't need anything. It also has the highest payment rate at 143 pounds at 10 days or even 20 days, and it decays relatively steadily. So if you want to get rid of all the windows, you can hit delete. And we're going to start looking for good spots for coal. Now the ideal scenario for coal is that you have kind of a medium route or a longish route, but not like too terribly long, because the longer you haul something, the more valuable it is, but also you run the risk of it losing value over time. So, for instance, there's a power plant here. This would be a relatively decent route, but there's another issue with it. We've got farmland here. If we take a look, if we hit the query button and take a look at the value, that farmland cost 375 to clear, plus whatever else we're putting on top of it. So we want to avoid that for now. What we can do is we can go to the map of the world, hit disable wall, hit coal mine, and power plant. And we'll just stretch this out just a little bit. You'll see there's some areas where this is all clustered up like here. We're going to leave those alone for just the time being. But over here looks promising. If we go take a look over here, we do have Uh, a couple of deceptive routes here. But we've got a coal mine up here, really two of them. Although we might leave that one alone too. Uh, Maybe we could go down here to Donham. Donham is a good place to start. And don't. Yeah, the reason I guess we are keeping the clustered up areas of coal, I guess left alone, is because of the fact that we're gonna do something with them in the future. Maybe even this video. But one thing you need to know about the coal plants is that that one's kind of smallish, right? But if we take a look at this one here, maybe even this one, yeah, that one's got 152 tons of coal on it. And you could have a large one that has even less. So that has 80 tons of coal compared to that 152 tons. So far, what we've learned is not to build through farmland, and we've learned that the size of the source doesn't necessarily indicate production rate. We're going to go ahead and take the 72 anyway, and the idea is that we're going to need to get this from point A to point B. If we click on our rails, well, we need to do a couple of things. First of all, we need to figure out how big our platforms need to be, and also some other things. So you'll see here that there is, I've got it on 7 tracks right now. We're going to set it to 1 track, and then there's also this catchment area, or this coverage area highlight. I'm just going to move that out of the way so that we can handle that steel mill separately. But we have, if we go look at our trains here, our available trains, we have a coal hopper that we can attach to it. And you can see it can handle 30 tons at any given time. Now my recommendation is that you make your trains as long as is required to, I guess, get them to carry what they need. And I would round to the nearest whole number. So in this case we have 72 divided by 30. That's going to be like 2 and some change. More towards the lower end. So what I'm going to do then, knowing that we can only have really 2, pardon me, we only have 2 tracks. This will save some money here. We're just going to put down this. And we're going to unpause. Place it down. And then we want, I'm going to leave us room for maybe 7. Which would mean that this would be the best place to put it for the time being. The reason I'm doing that is because over time, if you get really efficient, these things will start pumping out more coal. Now all we have to do, I'm going to leave, let's see, we got 2 there. I'm going to leave this guy here. I'm going to put in an extra one, and then 2 more. Because eventually we're going to want to expand this. Now we can't really see behind this coal mine, but if you hit X, it'll make the trees and the buildings invisible. And here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we could maybe do like that. Now you might be tempted to do a couple of things. You might be tempted in this case to maybe build a double track. We don't want to do that. That's a big infrastructure cost. and we're trying to minimize our cost right now. But we do need to put down a couple of depots. A, so that we can spawn our train, and B, so that they have a place to go when they need to be repaired. And notice I am pausing. I'm doing this to keep the interest from going down. You could also put, the stuff back in the bank while you're doing it, because it is a loan. But we could actually, if we just take a look at the traits here, if we take a look at available trains, we've got 3 engines. We've got the Kirby Paul tank. It's relatively cheap, but it is also not very fast and not very powerful. And it only goes 64 kilometers an hour. We have the Cheney Jubilee, which is more expensive. It's almost twice as expensive, actually. But it's got a lot more horsepower, which means it can pull a lot more stuff. It is a lot faster. And then we got the Genzu, which is slightly faster, but also has a higher running cost and lower reliability. So we're going to go with the Cheney, because it sort of has the best of both worlds. You can see it could also run for quite some time. And slightly less running cost. If you need the oomph, you could go for the Genzu, because we will be replacing it at some point. So we're just going to double click on this. Oh, it's paused. Yeah, we're going to double click on this. And this is it over here. And then we said 2 coal hoppers. Okay, we can pause again. There's a couple things we may want to do. First of all, we want to give it orders. The orders are implicit here because there's really only 2 places we can go, but it'll complain there's no or not enough orders. So what we're going to do, we're going to control click. We're going to hit go to first of all. After hitting the shell, we're going to control click, and then we're going to hit the Dunham Mines station. And then we're going to hit go to and Dunham Woods. And then we're going to send it on its way by clicking on stop. Another thing we may want to do, just for organization's sake, is if we click on this trains, this guy now shows up. And we might want to put it in its own group, because eventually we will be putting a lot of trains here. And I'll just call this Dunham Mines to power. When we come back and take a look at this, it'll make it a lot easier to do things. Okay, we'll hit delete. That guy's on its way. Let's do another one, and then what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to get as many going here as we can. Now this guy up here is a little bit longer of a route, but at 90 tons, is it worth it? Well, maybe. We can just go ahead and get that going at our leisure. We want to make sure, in this case, 90, that's 4 cars, so we're going to want a platform length of 4, because you have to include the train. And we're just going to stick this guy back here. And likewise, we are going to do this. Now, this maybe is not as effective of a route, but it is going to be longer, and that will be good for us. So, again, we're not worrying about leveling off the land. Eventually, we can pull back here, so I'm just going to do this. I'm giving myself enough room for them to be able to cross over. And a thing, by the way, about, like, the curves, you don't want to have like really tiny curves. And the reason for that is because if you do, then what'll end up happening is that the train will slow down as it's going to have to go through that curve. So you want longest segments. We also have to build a bridge here. We just take it off the X-ray mode here. And the main deal with the bridge is that yes, it does cost money. It also slows things down. We don't have a choice because there's a river in the way. But with that having been said, we're going to follow our rule here and try our best to maximize throughput. Again, put down another train depot. Put one down here. Open this guy up. And we said, what was it, a total of 3? Oh yeah, it was a total of 3. So yeah, we slightly overbuilt that. That's fine. Again, we'll go with the Cheney. And then, again, control click. And click. And then set that on its way. Again, as well, we might want to move this. If we go to ungrouped trains, we'll say, what is it? Trinville Mines to Power. Now, these guys are going to be loading this guy in particular. It's not going to take too long. In fact, it's nearly full already. And we can just sort of watch it get an idea of our profits here. Which is one reason why you might want to put them into groups. But I'll fast forward, I guess, or we'll get this set up here. There is a sort of tempting route. It is a little bit on the long side, but not too terribly long. Only problem is 64 tons of coal. So while this is going, we're going to put our money back in the bank. Actually, no, let's start. Let me just real quickly get the rest of this sorted out. If I have anything new to report, then I will report it. Otherwise, we'll fast forward. Okay, so here we've actually got a few things going on that maybe we should pay attention to. First of all, I forgot to check the coal mine there, but it's good enough. We've got, slightly more track than we need, but you'll notice that our train arrived. It is now offloading. How much profit is it going to make? Well, let's stretch out this window and let's see. And other than that, the other thing is we're going to just level this out, because flat track is happy track. And you can see we got several pounds out of it, which is fine. It's only 1,000, but that train is going to load and unload very quickly. And in fact, if we go to the station real quick, let me just open this up so we don't lose our spot. If we click on this guy, we can actually see now the service rating, and it's a 79%, which means that it's got coal waiting for it already, and we're going to leverage that in just a moment. But B, there's actually a high chance that this will grow as well. So, kind of a short route, but we can handle it. Let's go back to our other mine here. And the other thing is that we're kind of beginning to run out of money here, as you can see. So there is a little trick that is handy in order to do. We're going to build as much of this up as we can. But then we are going to do a couple of things to sort of make this a little bit easier to deal with. Aside from like doing some terraforming, which we kind of need to do anyway. Notice there is, you can build over slopes if you want to, but for diagonal pieces you have to only go a certain way. Like for instance, you can't drag a diagonal piece up this way, it's not possible. You can, however, do it in one of the cardinal directions. Okay, so we're getting all of this set up. Track's a little bit longer than it needs to be, but that's okay. And you'll notice that we need like 20 grand in order to build this. We can't even afford our engine. So one thing that you can do, if you're unpaused, you can hit Control and borrow. And we can get this route set up. Now we can build our vehicle. We said we wanted, what was it, 3? It actually, we'll control click on repay so that we don't, spend too much time. If you accidentally hit control like this, you can go here and click full unload, and then tell it to skip that order. I also didn't really put it at the optimal station, but it's okay. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and look for more stations. I'm kind of hoping it's already May, and we've got, how many, 4 so far? I'm going to try to get up to 10. That may not happen, but we should have some money coming in. So I will, I guess, continue to move forward. Now here we actually have a pretty decent mine. It's this is going to make us a lot of money if we can get it going relatively well. We can have 7 tracks up on it, and in fact, it may be worth it to make this a long haul route, which I'm going to do. I'm going to leverage the fact that we have the room here to do that, and you can see we're out of money again. You can only have like 10,000 by the way in the bank, and I'm just gonna bridge over. I did that for reasons that'll become clear in a moment. I sort of went on autopilot, but yeah, let's get this going. And the idea is that because we've got so much in the way of, I guess, available space between this really is something that if we wanted to make the most money, we need to send it reasonably far. And there's another reason too, and that reason has to do with the fact that, sure, it'll take a while to get stuff out here. Ooh, that's maybe not the best. Why don't we do like that? But on the flip side, what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to send a lot of trains that'll be able to fill up to fit that demand for coal. Because the power plants basically want as much coal as you can throw their way. Which is good. We'll probably go through and terraform that later. But this is a pretty long route, as it is. And it is good to have that long route. It means that when things get there, when that train gets there, it will, provide just a little bit more cash. Actually, a lot more. And because it's a big old boy, we can carry a lot. But it also means it has the potential to break down, which we do not want. I'm going to go ahead and get that train going right now. And in this case, it might actually be a good idea to use the Genzu just to get the edge on the speed. It is slightly more expensive, but I'm just going to go ahead and throw all 7 on there because it's 6.6. If you accidentally add one too many cars, let's see, which one is this? Runhattan. Okay, there we go. Where is this? We need to source our coal. And sink it. Okay, so that's going that way. Yeah, this wasn't a bad line. In fact, we'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone here, because there's also a power plant that's reasonably far away that we can take advantage of. However, there is a little bit of a trick that we're going to take advantage of. First of all, how much is this producing? 99 tons. Okay, so we need maybe 3 for now. And notice I'm leaving a little bit of room in between these. What I'm doing is making it so we can add on another station. Terraforming's kind of expensive, but it'll be okay. So we have more than enough for 7. I'm gonna put this at the head here, and we have room for 4 more. Probably want to turn this around. And in this situation, we are a little bit cramped, but let's see. We got another 4 here. Let's do like that. And that'll be our entrance. And by the way, if you accidentally do that, you can control click to remove the tile. Okay. So far, I mentioned there was a penalty for putting bridges in. We can get around that, however, if we do the following. We can put a tunnel in. Now, tunnels are kind of on the expensive side, as you can see. But on the flip side, there's no speed limit in tunnels, which is actually quite fantastic. And we had actually, when we have more money, which should be coming up pretty soon, we will be able to deal with that appropriately. Let's just put in our depots. And I was going to mention too, we actually might want a depot in the middle of this, so that this guy has a place to stop off. Now, we didn't really give ourselves too much room to really handle this, but the idea is going to be like follows. That, let's see, what did I say this was, 3. The idea is going to be that we're going to get them to basically stop off here, and really anytime you introduce a turn for a train, it's an opportunity for it to slow down. So maybe actually up here wouldn't be a bad spot for one. We're gonna have it just sort of turn up here. You ideally want this to be the length of the train. We don't really have room for that, but we're gonna put that in so that if it needs to stop for servicing, it can. Put our money back in the bank. And you can see right now we are at 6 trains. We probably have enough for 3 more. So not quite the 10 I wanted. If we take a look up here, this is actually maybe not 180. That one would be worth getting as well. That one we can get away with the 6er, I think. And in this case, it actually would maybe make sense for us to make it closer. So we'll do that. Where are ungrouped trains? That is, what is it? Flemingstone. What a name. And by the way, we could take a look at our profit here. This has already made us $7,000, and we've already made $32,000. And it's only August, so we're doing pretty good so far. This guy, for whatever reason, has not made... Oh yeah, because it's not running yet. So this is sort of the advantage here. Brandhattan is going to take a little while because it's still loading. But, yeah, we'll get this other guy, I guess, fleshed out. And then when we run out of money, which will probably be soon, we will just go ahead and, I guess, run the year forward and make profit. Okay, one thing here, I'd like to actually merge these guys. If you hit Control, you can do that. When you place them, we'll put it into Flemingstone Valley. That way, we slightly improve the performance of this. It actually doesn't really matter too much. In fact, I don't think there's a penalty for it. But, yeah, we've got, 2 long-haul routes here, which is going to be nice. So these are going to be our guys that are probably going to make us the most money. Let's see, that is going through a thing. Why don't we... I guess I did just violate my rule. That's okay, it's near the exit, so it's not gonna dramatically affect anything. Ooh. And we'll lower the terrain here as well. Anyway, I'll get back to this. Um, and I guess we'll see you on the other side. Oh, one other thing, I did make this just one too short. As it turns out, we needed 5. So if we want to extend this station, that's pretty easy to do. We'll just plop on the newest bit here. And I'm going to go ahead and save us some time. He says as he creates a train at the complete wrong end. We'll go ahead and get it going. We'll get a depot over here. And we'll see you when we're done. If you get in a situation like this, you can use the bomb to get rid of that errant station, or you could just bulldoze over it to remove bits of it. The bomb removes the entire thing. I just thought I'd mention that, as that was something that I just recently did, so there is an opportunity for that. So I forgot to unpause, but we made about 114 grand, 115 grand over the year, which is fantastic. I didn't quite get all 10 trains, and in fact, let's just take a look and see how many we had. We had a total of, I think, 8. But for that amount, that's actually not too bad. And now what we're going to do is we are going to, I guess, get this guy here, and then we're going to go through and optimize some of our most profitable routes. What you want to do, of course, this is a level crossing, which is not at all optimal. In fact, it is very much suboptimal. So we're going to take that back. That's what I'm trying to... Oh yeah, I gotta demolish it like this. We don't want an at-grade crossing over here. And in fact, if that town grows, which it may, we want to prevent anything like that from happening again, so we're just going to remove that. At-grade crossings are pretty dangerous. And instead of building that tunnel, I'm just going to flatten this. The township won't really like that. But if we go here and you know, provide service, it should be fine. So yeah, enough of the road building. I mean, either way, we're on to our next phase, which I'm just going to preemptively... Oops, that's the wrong kind. I'm going to preemptively give them a way over this so that it doesn't create any difficulties. Okay, so what is it we had over here? We will, I guess, just create our depot up here, get that going. And then the next thing that we want to do after that is we would like to basically go over our most profitable route, as I mentioned, and we say that was 90 something, 88. And go ahead and round it up. And we're going to add more trains to it, because that is going to be the way we're going to bulk up our profit without building up a lot of infrastructure. You see, we're already beginning to make a lot of money here. So if we go take a look at our train routes, that was Flindington Mines, by the way. And the other one was what? Caningville Mines. Okay, so to date, our most profitable line has been Donham Power. That one might be good. Lethbridge is good. Luntway might be good to do. Honningley. Let's just make sure that all of this, okay, this one we definitely need to improve. And you can see quite the difference here. Just make sure that all of our trains are out and about, because sometimes when you're, doing this, you forget. In fact, you can just hit this button down here and tell them all to go if they're not already done. Okay, with that being the situation, we've already made 11 grand in between this. Let's go over to this guy and let's improve things somewhat. And one way we can really make this happen is we're going to get rid of the depot here. We're going to extend this. I'm not surprised that this is our most profitable route because we're carrying so much coal. But now we're going to go through and turn this into a double line. And the way that that's going to work is we're going to make a crossing here. Because we can only, with the default settings, have 7, it's worthwhile to just go ahead and get this going. This guy's gonna keep on wanting to go until we get everything going. Here's the other end of this. The other end is here, and this is where this bit here that I put in also comes into play. Generally speaking, we don't want to use a loan unless we have to. It's okay to use it. And we probably will just borrow some. But I mean, we're at a pretty good spot with our loan utilization as far as I'm concerned, because of the fact that, we haven't even really completely used it up yet. That may change. But we're gonna want to do some things here. First of all, I'm gonna hook these guys up slightly differently than they were before. And now we've got two trains that are going to be running on this. We have to be really careful, because if we're not, then what can happen is they can collide with each other, and that would be no bueno. So what I'm doing is I'm selecting the one-way path signal as electric. I just prefer that style, so that's what I'm using. Use the manual ones if you want. And then I'm control clicking after I place the signal to drag it out. Yes, it is going to be expensive. It's going to be quite expensive, actually. And by the way, I've got, the default here is a spacing of 4. I have it set to 2, so that trains can just sort of stop where they need to. But by doing all this, there's only one other thing we need to do before, if we can beat the train there. And that is to put in a crossing here. And it doesn't like the signal there, so we're going to hit S and R to remove the signal. And we'll work on, we didn't quite beat the train, but we'll get it set back up as soon as it gets over. Okay, now that's done, the next question is, well, what do we do about getting that spare train going? And it's actually quite easy. We've got this train already up. We can hit clone train, but we want to hit control. We do it that way, it has shared orders. And now we'll just repay everything else that we had. These guys, if we wired it up correctly, and it is worth doing it, this guy's going into the depot, it looks like. Oh, and one thing that might be kind of handy, just so that this guy can get out. Because, see, we didn't quite beat him there. He went back to the other station. We're going to make sure we do that on the other end. And we need to release this guy too. Thankfully it was already done. But you can see when we control clicked, because it has the same orders, we now have 2 trains in this list. It would be worth our while, probably, to make it to where we have many trains. Let's see, what was our next most profitable one? Well, we had profit last year of 15. I think we said... Oops. The Trimville is actually pretty good. Why don't we go to Trimville and give it the same treatment? And again, it's actually not surprising because of the route that we gave it. I'm going to go through and I guess improve everything, and we'll do another time lapse. So we'll see you on the flip side. So here I forgot to do a couple of things. It's because I did not remove the signal, so I wasn't able to build the crossing. That'll slightly eat into our profits, but it's no issue. And we do need to borrow just a little bit of cash. So I made a little bit of a mistake in my haste. Anybody see what it is? Well, maybe if I turn off the X-ray, you'll see it. I've got a mine here and a mine here, which means that this guy is incorrectly routed, which is why if we take a look at it, the game's trying to tell us, hey, you don't have any profit. So in order to get around that, we'll go ahead, we know we're going to put in a twofer here. We'll just go ahead and we'll put the station like this. We'll join it on. And we'll reroute the train. As that's really the only thing we can do. Let's see. We'll go like that. And this actually gives us an opportunity to do something that maybe we wouldn't have been able to easily do earlier, which is, we'll just put this maybe here. Which is to just go ahead and refactor this to use 2 tracks. Sometimes it happens when you're sort of rushing to get things done that you will end up making mistakes like that, and the best thing you can really do is just do your best to correct them. And we'll just go ahead. I'm going to raise the land level since we're making plenty of cash. We'll do like that. Can we avoid that really big turn, I wonder? Yeah, by the way, we are, just something to point out, Funding Stone's probably not too terribly happy with us. That may become an issue in the future. Because if your rating gets too bad, they won't let you place things. The way you get around that is you place a bunch of trees. For some reason it makes them happy. We'll let it get to atrocious, maybe. And yeah, because we're gonna have to lower the land there. And yeah, it's very poor now. They won't let us place city stations, I bet. In fact, I'm surprised it's not worse. I mean, it will eventually... come to the point to where they won't care as much. And yeah, that's the thing, we gotta do a lot of terraforming. It's still 1937, so we've nearly tripled our income. I just noticed that, which is good. We could almost pay off the entire debt right now if we wanted to. I'm gonna maybe go until year 5, which is 1940 for those of you who are keeping track of all that. But yeah, we'll talk about repairing town relations probably in the next episode, I think, because I think that's what we'll focus on, is stuff like town building. I think that's more or less a straight shot. Oh no, just one more. Well, it's coming right out of the station, so that's okay. That's not a big deal. Alright, that more or less changes everything. We need to change some orders around. It's a shame I didn't really notice that until, earlier. But yeah, it's going to be lost. Let's just make sure we got you up. Let's just, and yeah, they are very mad at us now. So we'll have to remember to maybe fix their stuff. Let's get rid of Funningstone Market by hitting delete, and then we go to end orders. We could tell it to go to Funningstone Woods instead, which should help it. It doesn't really have anywhere else it can go. And we can get back on track on making this a profitable route. So yeah, it may take a little bit of time to fix, but we will fix it. What were we doing? Oh yeah, signals. Usually on these, I didn't do it, but usually on these junctions it is a good idea to put signals down. That poor train's gonna be wandering around forever, I feel. But I do got one more trick that I want to show you. And it is pretty handy. At least as far as tricks go. And that is going to involve those really dense mines that we have. So we'll just real quickly, we'll get the other mine going. We'll get that out so we double our profit. We still got more that we can do, but we're already pretty good. We're almost off to paying the loan. And let's go real quickly find one of those little areas that has maybe like almost like that would be good. Something like that would not be bad, but even better. Let's see if we can find it. As I saw a few really good spots here. Like, let's zoom out. We might have an easier time. Okay, yeah, something like this wouldn't be bad. This is what we're going to do. We're going to use the split station technique. In order to do a couple of things here. First of all, we're going to make this a complete 7 platform. And the rule is that you can only, that if you've got, here we've got 7 platforms. By default, you can only spread these out by 12 tiles. We could put down another train track, but instead, and it is sort of debatable whether or not this is cheating. Which, you know, maybe it is, maybe it ain't. So yeah, I just wasted some money there. Let's try this instead. Can we reach? That is the question. We can. Very good. Okay, so that will bring in... Oops. Did I tell it to create a new one? That's not what I wanted. I wanted... New Fonston Woods. There we go. So now we've got both of these. And we're making enough money now to where, honestly, with those 2 mines, let's see how much they add up to. We've got 189 tons and 63 tons, which should at least make a full load doable. Now, this is going to be not the easiest thing in the world to do. And unfortunately, it is going to require that we level the land just a little bit. Which, like I said, through farmland is expensive, but it's worth it because we will be making more than enough money to fund all of our activities doing this. So that's one trick. And it's one that because of the length of our route, it shouldn't be too hard to pull off. So if you got something like that, then optimizing this will not be hard. So that's the first trick. But the second trick, as we'll show, is that we could actually combine multiple stations in order to get better throughput. Can we do that? Oh, yeah, we'll do like that. We'll just get this guy down knowing that we'll make a pretty decent amount of money out of this. Let's get, I'm gonna go with the Genzu again. I'm gonna go with all 7. Full load, and then unload. And I'm fairly sure this is going to be profitable enough to where we're going to want all of these trains here just doing their thing. We have the money, so we can afford it. And let's even just go back. We got 4 ungrouped trains, New Flunston, Woods to Power. We'll come back and we'll check on that here in a bit. That wasn't what I was looking for, but it'll work well enough. So yeah, maybe around here will be a pretty decent spot at Fort Brenborough. Now we have this guy here, and we can't really use that truck. But what we can do is we can combine multiple ones of these into a more or less single drop-off point. I'm going to go ahead and, despite the fact that it will not be immediately profitable, I'm going to put down 4x7. And here, we'll go with 2x7 instead. And maybe just do like that. Try to find the best spot to put that in. We'll put it in over here. Normally, if we take a look at this, we could run separate routes. We got 99, we've got 63, we've got 126. They're not the worst, but they're not really the best either. So, if we can just combine them into a single station, that would be for the best. And basically my approach here is we could make this into a terminus station, and we will for now, just until we start making more money off of it. But eventually we're going to come out one end and over to the other. Let's begin pumping coal into this area, though. And these guys are actually probably going to level up really quickly because they're going to get really good service ratings. Now, of course, we have to be careful. I'm going to start up doing 4-length platforms for these at Wunborn Heights. And let's see, we ought to have enough room to fit them in. Now, this is the part that can get really dangerous, because if you get sucked into something like this, and I'm only really doing this because I know we're good for the money. I know that's not going to be an issue. Like, normally, this really small route wouldn't make any sense whatsoever. Normally you would want to avoid such a tiny route, but in this case, we don't, because what we're trying to do here is we're basically saying drop it off over here, and then I want you to come pick it up. Oh, I don't like that turn, but we'll deal with it. Actually, that turn's not bad. It's not as bad as I was thinking it would be. Where are we? Oh yeah, just move that little bit out there. And this is why we avoided the mega projects at the beginning, which this sort of is. Because you'll see we're doing a lot of terraforming. It's going to be very expensive. But it's going to be expensive in such a way that it will make sense. So, get our chainy thing going. Because this will level up so fast, I'm gonna throw an extra car on there. We want at least 4 here now, but instead of just dropping it off, we have to tell it to transfer. So click on that second order, transfer. I'm going to have at least 2 trains so that service is never interrupted. And I guess I just need to get it all signaled up. And we can put, probably wouldn't be a bad idea actually to put another service thing up here. Now, eventually when we optimize this, we are going to want to do some things to sort of get around the fact that we're going to have a lot of trains coming in and out. For now, all I want to do is get this guy wired up so we can begin service. And right now, it's going to be one of those things where the profit is going to be delayed. There's really nothing that we can do about that yet, except we can continuously mine. As you can see, we are spending a lot of money just getting through this farmland, but the reason we didn't do this to begin with is because if we had just done this off the bat, we'd be missing out on a ton of profit. And instead of making, you know, what is it, probably 400 or 500 grand, probably by the end of this, we're in November, so about 400 grand. Instead of doing that, we would have probably not made all that much at all. So here we are nearly there. We need to raise this up just a little bit. Maybe put in our junctions. And then we will finally because you can see we are pretty much, this is the nice thing about this setup, the way that we've done it. Is that we've not, I mean, we have kind of really complicated things. But we can have this guy, let's see, go here. Pick up the coal that's already been deposited. Tell him to go. And now, if we want to update our list, we can do that. We have a few ungrouped trains, so let's just name that, will we? Wunburn Heights feeder is going to be this guy. And what's the other one? The other one is Paffingford. We'll call it Paffingford Woods Runner. And we can create a new group. We've now got so many here that we're running out of room to drag click this. But yeah, we got 99 tons coming in right now. That'll be fine. I would rather, if we can, I would rather get the other stuff here, so I'm just going to completely level this out. I know that I've got those other sources there, so I'm going to go ahead and just put in 8 as well. There we go. So that way, we can just pretty much, we'll have to do a bunch of leveling here, which again will irritate the town, and we will see exactly how to deal with that. But there we go, Paffingford Heights can come down here. We may want to push that back just once more. But I'm going to go ahead and real quickly get my junctions down. And you don't have to do this. I just like doing it because it can dramatically increase throughput. And basically the way it works is that when you transfer, you can get really timely station rating bonuses. And that always gives a chance to increase the number of, I guess, resources that are coming out. Oh yeah, we're good. We're good. I'm just gonna flatten this little section of land here. And here it is largely a, you know, we can afford to go out one more. We don't want that really steep curve there. Alright, let's get her signaled up. Get the depots in. And get service running. I put that in the wrong place, as it turns out. But yeah, we can do, what is it, go with another Chinese. What did we say this was? It was 56 tons of coal. I'm just gonna go ahead and, for the time being, where is that? Oh, it can't be it. Oh, it doesn't know what it's doing. I must have forgotten to click control. If you run into that situation, all you have to do is control click another train, and it'll fix it. Alright, but let's, before we waste any more money on trains that are not doing their thing, get a Cheney. Let's just get it all four. And why don't we control click and clone that train as well. Oh, okay, I see what happened here. To get you to go back to the depot. Or maybe not. How long are these trains? We can find out. Yeah, okay. That one is one short. So all we have to do, we'll add one more on. Get it back out. Anything else we need to do? Oh yeah, transfer. Okay, very good. We got this last one here, so let's make it as easy for our train to get over as we can make it. And I guess what we'll do after this, because in this case we actually do want to shorten the path as much as possible, but after this, the main thing I want to do is pay off that loan so that we're ready. I might even go until 1940. I haven't really decided yet. I don't think I have too much more content that I want to add to this, so I'll probably just leave it. Because then we can get into working on the towns. Let's level this guy out. I know it's expensive, but we can afford it. We can get this up and going here. Get these guys connected. Get signals. No, it's the wrong way. Oh wait, if you do make a mistake here like I did, because I was not... No, I didn't. Yeah, I did make a mistake. You can just control, click and drag. Like that. Okay. One last thing. We'll probably run timeout until the end of the year. But I do want to get this going. We'll get our new train. That one's actually quite big, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I'm going to make it length 4. Because all we really care about now is throughput. So, let's see, what do you do? Oh yeah, you just need to transfer. And we'll clone that train as well. Okay, so now this guy is going to be receiving a lot of coal every month. Where is... Oh, that guy's still loading. Have we made any profit off of this? Yeah, we made 17 grand off of it. Let's just double up that train. Can we repay? Yeah, we got 9 grand to go. Let's run the year out. I'm just going to fast forward through this. Build up a little bit of money. And there we go. 630, so we doubled our profit. But then we're on year 4. And I think we're well poised. If we just go ahead and repay our loan, we're well poised for the next episode. So this has been Nylord Root, and until then, I suppose I will see you next time.